Good evening, all, and welcome to. Good evening, all, and I think the numbers are climbing. We are about half of the class, and this class was supposed to round up tools. Then we look at briefly basics of bad scripting. Basics of bad scripting. Then from next week, you now take advanced bad scripting. You look at more advanced. So all we've been doing is scratching on the surface. So you look at more advanced bad scripting. Now, one thing I don't want you to do is, I don't want you to actually, somebody to lie to you. Now, your foundation determines how far you can go. And some people might have told you that they are, I'm actually seeing some people saying they are a very good cybersecurity profession without coding skills. You'll not go very far. I'm just want to show you. Let me see if I can still get her, that lady. I should be able to get her out. Okay. Okay. Can you all see my screen? So that, let me share my screen. We are called technical people, and we are not. So now we're seeing something like this. Let me. Okay. Let me just show you this. So we say they are cybersecurity profession that does not require coding. So that is for the Nigerian market. So if you want to remain a local champion, that is for the Nigerian market. You understand? Now, so that you understand your career path very well. When you become an MBA, you understand, when you have an MBA and some technical background, you manage business so that you understand your career path very well. The fourth day I stepped into Huawei as an intern, I will take time to actually tell you because you people see me sit here, most of you don't know my technical capacity. I'm a Cisco certified internet network expert in View and a 2G, 3G, 4G RF consultant. And you can see I'm into cybersecurity. The first day I sat down in Huawei, the first thing I calculated is, how long is it going to take me to become a manager? Or how long is it going to take me to become a CTO? Because before I came into engineering, I was trading Forex. So I was already making money. So the end game to me was the money, gaining capacity and the money. It had its pros and cons. Now, when you're coming into a profession for technical position, maybe you want to grow up to become, so understand your career path very well. Those are the things you'll be listening to tomorrow for those coming to the event. If you want to end up at the top of a career path, your foundation has to be very solid. Now, if you want to end up managing technical people, you might not go very far. You might have jobs within Nigeria. Now, the whole essence of this training is to build a crop of people who can actually go very far and do what? And work internationally. So you are required to have the technical capacity to that stage. Okay, so I'd walked into Huawei, now looked around, and I saw that the CTO in those companies are never, one, Nigerians. Two, the farthest you can go is becoming a manager. So I did all my background check, and the way it is in telecom sector is that you remain on a post for a long time if your senior manager is that he leaves or he dies. That's when you can apply for that post, because telecom sector is more of a regulated sector. You don't have them anyhow. So you have some limited capacity to move around. I just want to tell you the beauty about this. Now, that started giving me insight that, I need to actually work very hard. Now, the other opportunities you have is now making yourself what? Strong capacity to work internationally. I want to just tell you the advantage of this platform. So I pulled out of Huawei at a point in time and started getting ready to work on international projects. That was as way back as 2013, 2014. So I'd done my homework when I'm in technical upgrade so that I can pass any international interview. It's good we have these conversations. So the first opportunity that came our way was Huawei in South Africa. They were actually doing a turnkey project. I think it was WiMAX or 3G. I can't remember. So they needed 50 RF guys. Normally the interviews don't come from Nigeria. It's not HR Nigeria. You have companies like Tangent International, Mawson, and the rest of them. That is where such interviews come from. Normally in tech, they ask you some questions, and apart from you passing the interviews, where you are coming from matters. I had a problem, you understand? I had some internal issues on my leaving a company. So those are the pros and cons. So when you are leaving any company, no matter what, if you are currently working, try to exit with good backward compatibility, because nobody's going to employ you and will not refer to the last place you worked. So we got to the interview. As you can see, maybe people don't know, Nigerian telecommunications sector until now, where they are migrating most of the RAN parameters to the cloud, it's one of the most competitive telecom sector in the world because of our population. So there is huge congestion, meaning that there are more use cases in Nigeria than any other place in the world. Like maybe Israel, who has just 8 million people, or South Africa, that maybe their population is just 40 million or 50 million. So the population of the whole country is like the population of one network provider here. So what it means that we have a lot of use cases, and because of the way Huawei is built, there's some programs they do where you have access to resource of all the projects they have done worldwide. You can watch those videos and you assume a lot of experience within 1 or 2 weeks. That's if you really want to learn, because it's a dynamic platform. The interview was a walkover, but there are other things that make HR take you, because the interview is not only for Nigerians. And when it comes to international platform, there is an international stigmatization. So where you are coming from matters. Now so that's why we know how to do this. That's why we are packaging it very well, so that it will be easier for you to cross over. Now, the first thing that counts is your technical capability. The next thing is, where are you coming from? So it was Huawei, it was easier. But some other things were counting. You have Pakistanis there, you have Indians. You will not see Americans and Brits competing. They are very, very high expensive labor. But you see India, anywhere you see India and Pakistanis and Chinese, you have to say something else. You have to be very, very good, because when it comes to so they actually want to pick them. But in the sector in which you are, Israel is the what alma mater. You understand? So you understand, if you understand what we're doing. So I, as an experienced tech guy, I did not just choose any brand to represent. I chose what can easily sell you internationally. So I didn't get most of the opportunity because, one, I don't have any international experience. So for those of you looking for working abroad, it might not be possible on the onset. What you will get is, then for RF job, there was no remote job. So they prefer taking somebody who has worked outside. Mostly if it's in Nigeria, they are very scared. And the issue of work permit comes into play. South Africa, the work permit as of 2014 was about 500,000. You have to have it. I think I had 6 months visa. So I was trying to negotiate my way. Those are the little hiccups. Apart from that, they took the Pakistani. You understand? So they took the Pakistani. Now, apart from that, the knowledge is becoming too rampant. No, what we call something replica. So at that point in time, a lot of people, there are a lot of RF guys coming up. So how you now add more colors to yourself, make you more needed. So that was on the, I think that job was $350 per day. I think guys who actually went for that job for 18 months, they came back and some of them used limousine. Is it limousine or Bentley? I can't remember the car to do their wedding. Because if you are earning $350 per day for an 18 month stretch, you made a lot of money. Those are the kind of money you work for 1 year, you've earned somebody's salary for 12 years. So if you are going very far and you want to go with a speed, you have to go with a team. You have to go with a colony. So stop looking at these local champions here in Nigeria who want to actually promise you an easy way out. There's never an easy way out if you are going very far. you have to actually look like what they do internationally. The cybersecurity sector in Nigeria actually is just growing. So if we are building, you are not building for the local market. That's why I should say this. There is no fully baked cybersecurity professional that does not know how to code. End of story. So every other person you see, they are just there, you understand? Maybe they have an MBA, they are managing the business. It's the business they're managing, they will outsource it to a managed security company. So you are here to train to become a professional cybersecurity engineer or professional. Coding is native. It's part of what you learn. You must know it. So I think that's just it. Even in the banking sector, I'm sorry for those who are in the banking sector. It's hybrid they run, and unfortunately they run hybrid. It's been outsourced. So value this platform and use it to actually leverage. So I've been on the sector for a long time. Started my career way back. So we understand what sells faster. This knowledge is alien. Before now, it's not open to the private sector. It's just for secret service and military. Because recently it has been opened, and that is actually why we see, because the cybersecurity is actually a warfare domain, like every other warfare domain. The land, the air, the sea. So the kind of training they give to the military people when they come is different from your own kind of training for countries whose critical national infrastructure all runs on the internet. So they have a part of military who actually sits down, sorry, and they actually use cyber warfare as a tool for warfare. So having said that, let's move to today's topic. So I'm sure you all can actually listen to me. So the program is actually very robust. There is the technical part of it, and there is the HR part. So what we are finalizing now is actually the HR part, because we can train you, but we cannot employ you. So for those who will employ you, give you the HR training. If you want to look like that client, so there are some constraints you meet. Most especially if it's Nigeria you are coming from, you can ask guys in Dubai. They don't give them work permit. So we are leveraging more of remote jobs, because some people have met with me, they want to relocate, and except you have your relocation plan. Somebody is just sending me. So it's standard price. So for those of us who actually are in the sector, if we tell you can earn $100,000 per annum, is the standard price, because by the time you break it down per day, it's like $300 or $350. So that is what they pay for international projects. So that is what they pay for international projects. So that is what it is. So come here, get the job. We hand you over to international HR, so that the best way to fly in life is by standing on the shoulders of those who have been ahead of you. Because you don't see people at this stage, because it's Huawei Nigeria that stopped that particular employment in South Africa. Why? Because of the way I left Huawei Nigeria. So for those who are currently working, try to actually work very well, and don't ever leave your company with the wrong backward compatibility. It might be a big damage that you might not be able to amend. So that's first thing. Ensure you leave, give them a 1 month notice, and you leave very well. You understand? So if you have people, you'll be acting funny, time to go back and start amending, because they're going to come back to them and ask questions. I had walked out of a technical meeting and told them, you can keep your job. I will get a job in 2 days or 3 days. 3 months after that, they were still paying my salary. I was actually working somewhere. But when it came to international, they always refer back to the Huawei. That's one thing. That's where cybersecurity is different. It is not vendor based. sorry, excuse me. If you have to work for Huawei, you have to have Huawei experience. If you have to work for Nokia Siemens, you have to have Nokia Siemens experience. But in cybersecurity, there's no vendor. It's VMware, Linux, and tools. Once you know it, you can work for any any company anywhere in the world. So you are just coming in. I'm trying to ensure that nobody is actually talking into your brain, because it's not about your mindset, and you run very far. The way you start determine how far you can go. So let's come to today's topic. So we've been looking at Linux for a while, and you've taken basic commands, and we were looking at tools the other day. We started with information gathering tools, vulnerability analysis tools, wireless tools. We looked at website penetration tools. We looked at exploitation tools. I think we looked at some forensic tools. I don't know if I can still. We look at some forensic tools. Then we look at social engineering tools. So I want you guys to tell us, to actually remind me, what tools have we looked at? These tools are supposed to be treated in the main training, but I just want to expose you to them on the surface. Then before we now actually move into bad scripting, use today to do a summary of what you have learned so far. From next week, we move to advanced bad scripting. So all those stuff you wrote on the surface, you are going to go in depth and look at in-depth stuff that you use in real life scenario, because you just crashed it on the surface. So please, I need your comments on what we have learned so far on tools. What have we learned so far on tools? More like a summary. So what I've decided to do is this. To actually help you master the script, I will give you a script that has been altered. Then you now rewrite the script and make it work. So I will alter the script and you now rewrite it and make it one. Try as much as possible not to do copy and paste. You understand? You won't have a second chance to train yourself. You understand? What you see me do, it's not sudden. I've been like this since I was in the university. So sometimes I come to the office, I don't go home for like 3 days. I'm writing codes, but I have all the comfort here. So I've been like this. So you might not be wired that way. So the only time you have to learn is writing this script and using the simulator to perfect it. So ensure you're not copying and paste, because we are not at the other hand there. Try as much as possible to rewrite it when it's altered, and look at where if you have problem, be honest enough to hone up so that you learn from it. You are building, that might just be the interview you walk into. And that might be what you need to actually get the job. So I'm talking about the Python, even this bad scripting, we will alter the codes and give you to make it. At the end of this training, you should have been able to do your project. You should have been able to write it, understand it, and actually understand what is making it work. So please, okay. So let's it just information gathering tool, penetration testing tools, the tools we have used so far. What commands are those tools? What commands are those tools? What Linux command do you use for those tools? So what I expect you to do is to have something like this, and you send it to me. What we have done so far. Tools. What's the best way to do information gathering? So if you write DNS 1 command, so you can have the sub here, like you can have nmap, then you have Linux command, then you can just have the screenshot. So you can have it this way. So what's the Linux command for actually running an nmap? What's the Linux command for running what? A DNS tracer. What's the Linux command for running up a DNS map? What is the Linux command for running what? SQL injection. Now, when you open this note, you actually can see what it should give you. Now, if you come here, 2, text manipulation tools. So I think you should do something like this in the next 1 hour and actually send it to the WhatsApp handle. If we don't move like this, you will just be coming to class. We don't know if you're actually following what we're doing or you're actually catching up before we move any step further from here. So go back to your notes, information gathering tools, all the tools we have treated, what we looked at it, what it's like. You can write the Linux command for doing it, then just add the screenshot there. Screenshot what you've done and actually just send here. It's not in just gathering and gathering, teaching new topics. Let's know if you're actually following what we're doing. Please, can you all hear me? Hello, can you all hear me? Good. So that's it. I can help you right away so that you can remember what we did clearly. So it's not that you just come to class. The first thing we look for was information gathering tools. We looked at Nmap. We look at something like this. So we looked at something like this. And I think I remember telling you to actually then we went ahead to look at still scan. So it should be playing now in your finger. It should be playing now in your finger. So let's treat it one by one more time so that you can have this. It should be playing now in your finger. Look at that still scan. So you should understand this. Like if I bring up this particular, sorry. What is this? What is this part? What is this part? What is this part then? Am I a super user or I'm just what? A normal user? So those things should be in your head and in your hand. That's the difference that you are learning and you're actually in class. Sorry. So can you come up with something like that and actually come up with something like that? Let's see. So that when you open your Excel sheet, I think this is 7:58. I will leave 30 minutes for you to come up with something. Then we can now proceed from there. Let's use it as a revision so that we can see if you can remember what you have learned. I remember I actually defined it. The root is what? The Kali is what? The terminal. That is a super user. What is that stuff? So it should be part of the way you speak and you should understand it clearly. So please, let's do a revision and let me see what you can come up with for what you have learned so far. So if you have your notes this way, these tools are note taking, the tool you treat, information gathering tools, these are the different tools. What Linux command, what screenshot, then you can now you add your own notes so that when you are reading it, you can actually look at what it is you want to look at or what it's used for. It's a competitive field, so you should understand. So I'm waiting. I'll give 30 minutes for you guys to come up with something. So while you are doing that, let me just be playing this stuff so that it will be on the background. Let me just.
My name is David Schiffman, and I'm going to try and do something that I've never done before. I'm going to do two scenarios, one after another.
By 8:30, we'll actually stop this session. You are supposed to do whatever I need to do and submit before 8:30.
Done before, and do two scenarios, one after another. I feel like hopefully, when I come to Beijing, you'll be able to take me out for a good beer after everything I'm going to do now. So
that's what. Yes.
So let me first.
Okay, let me translation. 首先，咱们现在先开始。那个现在是这个新 Cyber 的总裁，他那个说上一次跟我们交流或者说连着跟我们两次交流，他没这个经历，就说明我们这边非常认真。然后那个于教授，他说他再来北京的时候，一定让我们请他喝啤酒啊，于教授。Okay, go on.
So what we're going to do is I decided to do a scenario that was built by the Israeli police, something that they wanted to train their police officers.
Okay, let me translate. 他说他现在先介绍一下他们这个培训平台。首先，这个平台呢，这块的现在平台是专门为以色列这个警察这个建立的这个平台，就是现在的演示的这一块。Okay, go on.
So right now I pressed on prepare scenario to generate that scenario. The simulator, as I've explained in the past, generates the specific simulation at that point. So right now everything is building out and creating the environment for us to be able to run the simulation.
他现在就是在这个装这个下载这个他们叫情景，就一个实际一个实际的场景，对这个任何一个案件或者任何一个这个网上的情况，他们会有好多场景。那么呢，他把场景下来以后呢，按这个场景呢，由这个学员呢来这个老师教学员怎么来应对，怎么来解决，怎么来处理。Okay.
So I'm going to log right now as the student. Each student has a unique code and username and code. Just going to log in, and you can see my dashboard at the top.
说每个学生的学员都有一个用户名和他那个学生号，然后呢可以这个进入这个培训平台。
Please explain, Ren, that because we have one screen right now, I'm going to be showing the trainer screen and the student screen together.
他说我这个通过这个屏幕呢，先给大家展示一下这个培训教师就老师的平台和这种界面和这个学生的这个平台界面。OK。
I'm going to start the scenario for this unit, and once I do this, this dashboard will change into a scenario mode.
他说的按一下这个按键的话，把这个变成了一种这个现在这个模拟的这种这个情景的模式。
I'm going to press start. S1 is connected. I'm S1, and this is my time. I'm going to minimize the trainer screen in order for us to start doing the scenario.
他说他可以把这个学生的这个屏幕给放到最小化，然后现在是展现这个培训师的这个屏幕。
Okay, so basically here at this point, we're learning about what happened and we need to respond. So in a sense, what happened was there was a big breach and data was stolen, and the police security team found leads to those people in the darknet. So we are going to start.
因为这个左上角这个文字上就显示的
Do you understand?
understand。
Okay, good.
说明这个发生了什么事件，假如网络上发生了什么事件，被攻击了或者被盗取了这个信息了等等的，那么它显示，然后呢由警察这个人员或者网络人员呢来这个介入，来怎么把这个问题解决。首先人发现问题，然后怎么解决，一步一步的他指导。OK。
So we were able to find some suspicious executables. They're telling us to connect to the FTP server on an IP and giving us username and password to connect. Again, everything was created once we generated the simulation. Investigate the files. There's a password for the files. It is infected, and we need to analyze it and to find the address the backdoor is trying to connect to.
这样来说，这个按照这个指示呢，那么这个他就创建这个服务器里面的各种场景，这些数据都trang好，装好以后呢，那么这个调查员的学员呢，就这个进入这个系统呢，因为整个。
Hello, please. Is everybody here? I'm not seeing any response from anybody. Are you guys working on it? So only one person that is answering. The rest people, are you working on it? Are you doing this, what you have been asked to do? What we're asked to do is to come up with something like this. Come up with something like this. Okay, better, please. Come up with something so it refreshes your brain so that you know the light. So anytime you are looking at it like a note, you know what to expect. You know you cannot write the uses of Mmap. So when you have something like this, it becomes your personal note. Put it in an Excel sheet. Please. So that you can play around with it. All right. We have next 20 minutes to run that.
事先都设计好，都把这个都做好了。所以呢，通过发现问题，然后怎么样一步一步找出问题，然后解决问题，就是这样一步的进行。OK。
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my student screen, and start working. So we were told that this is the IP, and this is the password, and this is the username. So what I will do is I'm going to just use this.
现在我就进入这个学生这个界面，学生界面呢，刚才说有用户名和密码，然后 IP 地址等等，进入以后呢，它就可以对这个情景呢就开始进行这个深入的这个进行这个取证啊等等的进行解决问题。OK。
So now I'm basically moving forward and starting to investigate. My goal is to investigate these executables and find which one has a back door and where it's connected.
这样来说，通过这个调查研究什么网络取证啊，就可以找到这个黑客是怎么进来的，后门在哪儿发生的，他是怎么接进来的，我们把这后门呢先找到。
These are the files, and in general, please explain that is they start investigating each one of the files. I will already go to the correct file just to save time and leave time for the other scenario. Please explain.
这时候我就简单的这个案例，然后呢，他说我再介绍一个这些案例呢都是存储在我们的系统里面，这有上千个上百个案例。那么我现在呢这个把它存起来之后，我再说另外一个案例。OK。
So what I did now is I extracted the zip file, and right now it's an exe extension.
我现在进了另外一个情景 ，OK。
What I will do is I will start now a network sniffer in order to see all communications going from my computer and forward.
他用这个 computer sniffer 来对整个这个信息的这个收发的话都可以接通，都可以进行这个浏览和核查 ，OK。
Good. Now what I want to do is I want to run my exe file and to see where it's trying to connect to.
他说我运行我的 exe 这个文档呢，然后呢就看它是怎么连接的，连接到哪个方向。
So before I'm going to run it, you can see that I already have 191. I'm just going to refresh it so it will be clearer. Now I'm going to hit enter.
Hello, I cannot hear you.
Did you see what I did? I ran the file.
Yes.
Good. So now I can stop it and start investigating. Albert, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
然后他现在运行档案大概191个，然后他就开始进行调查。
Ren,
Okay.
Ren, it is very important to understand what David is trying to do. He runs the exe file in order to see where exactly this file is trying to approach. Okay, where are the what exactly this file is doing? If it is malicious file or normal file. Okay.
他对他用 exe 文件呢，大概191个文件，在里面他认真调查，看哪些是正常的，哪些是不正常的。
Hello, Mr. Oluwasola. This is what I said we should do. If you come back to you write using awk actually falls under information gathering or whatever it falls on in the tool. If it's text manipulation tools, now you write the command, screenshot it on Excel sheet, then write notes on it so that from henceforth you make it a standard of taking notes, because most of you are I think I skipped note taking which is actually very key. There is a way you take a note, take notes on this, since it's a what, it's not the regular, how will I put it? It's not the regular theory class, it's a practical class. So there's a way you take the note so that when you open your note, you can see scenarios of usage. So that is what I said we should do. Now, let me try to actually do one. Okay, let me try to do Nmap. Let me pause this and actually help you out so that you see what I'm saying. So, 1 minute. So I'll be sharing my screen now. So that you make it a standard of note taking, so that we'll set that standard. So the first tool we are looking at is what? Nmap. So it's under information gathering tool. What is the Linux command? Nmap -P (1 to 65). This is just a so if I run this here, that's the result you got. To come here, screenshot it, the usage of the command. You come here, paste. So you see that you make it as big so that it's something you can read. Are you seeing it? So you come back here. Delete this. You move all this one. Cut. So you paste it here. So you can now delete all this. So if you are taking DNS Tracer, I hope you now understand what I'm saying you guys should do. So I hope you now understand. So you have this command. You can make this bolder, so that you can see it. So in your comments, you can now write something like, so it's a note you can always refer to. T4 is what? The speed of the scan. Then HP is what? The ports. Are you getting it? So it's easier when you are reading it for revision. Okay, now information gathering tool. Now you take DNS tracer. So what commands do we use for DNS tracer? What command do we use for DNS tracer? So I think I've actually given you guys a template. So what command did we use for DNS tracer? Hello, what command did we use for DNS tracer? So that is what you're supposed to do. Go back and actually do all those stuffs that we've treated and submit it and send it this way to me. So you see, you can look at it, information gathering tool, okay, Nmap, tool name. You can call here what tool name. The Linux command, screenshot of the command. So that is what I said we should do, so that you have a note to read. So it can just be one, all this your notes can just be one single Excel sheet. Linux, this is what. I call this one information gathering tools. So it should just be information. So you can save the stuff of what? Linux tools. So this one can be information gathering tools. Are we all clear on what to do? So you can take this and do it as assignment and bring it before the next. Bring it before the next. So when we are asking anything, you have a note to actually. So I think we've actually looked at it very well. So this is how you, if I ask all the notes, where are your notes? What are your notes taking skills or your notes taking skills? So this is one way you keep notes in a practical class. You understand? So this should be a standard of your notes. So you have something to fall back to. So these are the, you understand? So you can look at it. When you look at it, it's very easy to read. Before we start moving very far. So what we've looked at information gathering tools. We looked at Nmap. So I want to take a revision now. Now, on other information gathering tools, I want to take a revision so that we can refresh our memory on what we have been doing. We looked at Nmap. We looked at the still scan, which I've shared. We now looked at DNS tool, domain name service tools. One of them is the DNSium, which you have looked at. We looked at the DNS map. We looked at the DNS tracer. We looked at the load balancing detector. We looked at the HPing tree. So how many stuff have we looked at on information gathering tool? How many tools did we cover? Then we look at the SARS spoils too. So we looked at Nmap, we look at the still scan, other information gathering tools. Then we'll now look at DNS tools. We look at DNS. We looked at DNS map. At load balancing. Look at HPing tree. Or do you want us to repeat these particular tools, then take the notes in this standard format so that you can have this note and actually have it for keeps? I think that's the best thing to do so that we don't come back. The DNS tools is under information gathering tools. The DNS tools is under information gathering tools. The DNS tools is under Mr. Jesupe Mewale. The DNS tools is under information gathering tools. So if you want us to repeat this so that you can have the note the way, so that it's something you can look at, it becomes a note you can read. Yes, we treated it the way we treat. You are using the command, but you don't know that still scan is a type of what? Nmap scan. And I've showed you, so it's good you actually learn these things, actually knowing what. So when we talk about still scan, this is still scan. This is what a still scan is. So those double S you see, now you should be able to actually tell what those stuffs are used for. So I think you should actually do it that way. So let's take them in that order. The first thing I've done for you, I've done Nmap. Now the next thing is to do what? Still scan. So you can do it on your own and take your note that way. Now let's take still scan. Before you come for the next class, you should, I think I will send the list of those of what we have done, then you actually update on your own. This shows that when somebody went, at least somebody will actually ask you, have you been going for training? Can I see what you have been learning? This looks more presentable. Now, when you are looking at, Bola, you want to say something? TCP sync scan is not under it's not under information gathering tools. or are you trying to actually explain what is stilt scan? Stilt scan is, now I think, let me just give you what definition of a stilt scan, that you can understand it. So this is the definition of a stilt scan. So it's an Nmap scan, but you still treat Nmap. So that is the definition of a stilt scan. So I think we should take a pause. When you are doing a scan, what exactly is happening? Because I try not to dwell more on theory. When you say you are doing an Nmap scan, what exactly happens? So can you tell me when you are doing an Nmap, what exactly are you trying to do, so that we are done with this? You actually can somebody tell me? Let's not waste our time. So this is what Nmap does. This is what you use it to do. So those are the things you should add to your notes as you are looking, as you're actually using your notes. Nmap. So you can come here and actually, this is your note. You pick this. Sorry, you pick this. You can wrap this text. I don't know why it's not wrapping. So you can just so I'm just giving you all the information you need about Nmap. That is it. So I want to wrap this. I don't know why it's acting up. It's supposed to be where this new version of system can be so funny. So you just paste information. All that information you need. So as you're looking at your notes, what do you mean by edit Nmap? I don't know what you mean by edit Nmap. What do you mean by edit Nmap? So what you use Nmap for is you actually use it to determine which host is available on the network, what services those hosts are offering, which operating system are running, what type of packet filters, firewalls are in use. That is what you use Nmap for. Now, what do you use your port scanner for? What is the function of your port scanner? The one that you're actually building on what? On Python script. What is the use of your port scanner? Now come here so that you can know what we are doing. Maybe I purposely slowed down so that now your Nmap in GitHub. So let's open Nmap so that you can maybe let's have access. Let's try to open the code you can see what the code looks like and compare. What do you mean by gedit mmap? What is that? Are you trying to write an mmap script? So you can download. You use gedit when you are writing a script. Gedit, that's what you've been using to actually write. Are you getting it? You use gedit. That is if you want to write the script. The script is already written and is actually on your system running. That is why you are using it. So I want to just open the code. Before the end of the lesson, I would have opened the code for you guys to see, so that you see that what is the function of the port scanner you are building. So I believe you all now see the reason why we told you to actually write scripts on your own. So basically what your this thing is doing is that it actually does more job than what the Nmap does. So are you guys getting it clearly? So you can download this Nmap code and look at what the codes are. Now that you have started writing codes, I wanted to actually do it here so that you can see what you look at what the codes are and see what it is. So you are learning to build your own tools. Are you getting it? So that's what information. So as you are using the one on the system, you are building your own. So that is why you should actually understand it very well. Now, if you come back here, you now take still scan. So your still scan is simply and I think at a particular time so that you take your notes like somebody. I can remember I did this in I showed you do Nmap. Do you remember me showing you this? Port 80 T4. I don't know if all of you can remember this particular code and line. Can you all remember this? So this is a still scan. Now, if you can remember this, you should be able to remember your sorry. So let me ls first. I think okay, lope.txt. I wanted to cut lope.txt. What's in lope.txt? So this is the IP address in lope.txt. How did we get here? IP switch, IP sweeper. You remember your IP sweeper? So if I do like this and I put iPhone lope2.txt, I don't know. Yeah. So if I do like this, it will actually, so if I cut lope2, you see, if I cut lope2.txt, so then for are you people still following me? So I just want to show you that you have used tilt scan before. So all our what information, what you are trying to do here is because you are doing you are trying to gather information about what if this particular port on this particular what is hop. Now the only difference is that you are using the IP on your what on your own system. Now if you come back and look at nano. If you look at nano IP sweeper, so are you getting it? So you are looking at IP within your own. So you can only use this particular script only what within your own what network. You understand? So now if you come and actually so that let's look at Control X. Now you do NS lookup. So you have tools. Maybe you are now the network address of this is 172.64.218. So if you come back and use batch IP sweeper, Sorry. 1 minute. Batch IP sweeper .sh 172.67.218. Did you see what just happened? Oh, sorry. Control C. I think I used that is supposed to be 67. Control C. So you see, you have tools, but you still, because you have not learned how to use it. So that IP sweeper is actually another batch script tool. So you'll be learning. So by the time you start seeing, you start seeing. So you use tilt scan. So if you now use you now ping all those IP, and you actually now use that you will do it at once. So what you are doing formally, what you are just actually doing for So you see, this particular line is a very powerful tool you can always use to test the whole network at once. Do Nmap. So you've done this before. This is tilt scan. But it's just testing port 80. You can say 1, 2. Let's just leave it at port 80. The speed, T4, $IP, and done. So that is, you see, it has started scanning. So if you go back and see very well, in all those, it's telling you this is what 192.24.1, port 80 is state, port, filtered, service, port, state, close, service, HTTP, that's 249, then there are about 2 or 3 IP addresses. So that's actually how you see all the IP address. There's 122, 249.2, there's 249.1, then another one, 249.192. So you see, these are tools you use to actually do what? Clear. Now, you now have one in batch scripting. You now have another one in what? In Python script. So are you guys still there, please? Are you following me? So those tools you look at, they are powerful tools. So Mrs. Grace that said you have not done still scan. So that's still scan. So you can screenshot this. That's another practical use of still scan. So you can screenshot this and actually add to your. So you that say you've not done still scan, you've done still scan a long time ago, but you don't know that it was still scan you're doing. So that's still scan.
So we the batch A, we've not done still scan because I actually went through
this.
The batch A.
Is that not Godwin Chukuma?
Yeah, this Godwin Chukuma, sir.
You are in what batch?
I don't remember
this stuff was in. This is batch scripting. Did you not do batch scripting?
We did you do batch very still scan?
Yeah, that is still scan. Still scan. This is the still scan. The still scan is this one. That is the still scanning.
This very code. This very code I'm looking at here now. I don't remember I was doing this very one.
You forgot. I treated it there. I treated it in batch A. And if you don't know it, you are not learning it now. That is why it's essential that you actually have a training script, a note-taking pattern, so that all these things you will not come back and say you've not learned it. So all you need to do is actually screenshot this particular code. I taught it when I was teaching IP Sweeper. I taught this code when I was teaching IP Sweeper. So you copy this. You paste. You can come here and reduce the size. Yes, we are not supposed to go in depth, but you are supposed to just see. The ones I did not go in depth is because you'll be treating it on a later date. The ones that you can actually. So that's what it looks like. Load balancing, I showed you the command. I don't know if you took your notes very well. I'm sure if you go back to the this thing, if you go back to the video, you see it. So this load balancing, and I'm sure I showed you this that day. So that is how you execute the command. Load balancing detector. So I still showed you HPing tree. So I think it's best you actually, the first thing we need to do before we move on, so that we are not just wasting our time, you go back and actually prepare your notes this way, so that we pick it from this note from Monday in the Linux class. You must have a note-taking pattern that is actually that you can go back, so that you don't come back and say you have not been taught. So this is the load balancing. Now it's checking load balancing. Let's see. So you see, that's load balancing. So that's load balancing. So I think we should take it that way. Okay, yeah, 1 minute, sister, and it's great. So that okay. In this case, the whole idea is to actually be sure that, as you can see from what you are seeing here, if you look at here very well, now the load balancing is checking if it is using a DNS load balancing or what HTTP load balancing. All is to actually ensure points of what exploitation. So when you run it, it says it checks if a given domain uses load balancing. Now, if it's using DNS load balancing or HTTP load balancing, now if it finds it, it now so that the servers, how many, for those who actually, well, how many types of servers do you have? Depending on what, you can have different kinds of servers. So how does it do the load balancing, domain name load balancing or HTTP load balancing? Now, if he has found a server, you see it has found a server. Are you sure you are using no date header found skipping? You understand? So when you are actually exploiting a website or doing a banner grabber, you are looking at the kind of software it uses and how you can exploit it. So at the end, he said the website does load balancing found via method HTTP diff. Are you seeing found? So load balancing enables you to actually protect the server for one from exploit. So So do you now understand what load balancing does? So it actually helps what check how the website balances load on server using domain name service or what HTTP. So that is what it is investigating. So if you want a note on that, let me just share a note. So I think we need to take a pause. We are moving too fast so that we are not actually losing information. So I think we should slow down and visit those stuffs in depth. All those tools, let's just take the ones you need to have more information on. So now I have actually listed this that we pause here. So you go back. Build a note around this. Build a note around this. You go back and build a note around this. So we'll take a pause here. So I think that's the best thing to do. I can see that most of us are not carried along. So you build a note using this particular format. You know what the command is, show us what the screenshot, write notes about it at the end. More like we are just attending class and there's nothing we are learning. So you can build a note around this, the commands, the stuff, what you know about it. I think we'll pick it up from there. So when you do that, we look at other tools so that we exhaust those topics before we move to any other topic. Because after now, what is left for you to take is batch script. HPing tree is just like your normal ping. Sorry. HP tree. I'm trying to give you a note now. Then we'll now implement the command. So that's the definition of HPing tree. So that's it. Control C. Let's look at the flags. So I don't know, have I been able to explain it to you? So no, I don't think so. It's just to pink, as you can see. It's just used to ping to see if there's if it can be used to actually bypass firewall. Bringing down anything is actually in exploitation. So I think we stop here. You guys should go back and actually do a proper note taking. So you have your note taking format. So you should go back and do a proper note taking so that we know that you understand the commands to use and all this stuff, so that it doesn't look as if we are wasting time. So I can share the commands over the weekend. Then you develop a template like this: tools, tool name, Linux command, screenshot, then your notes. So if you have any question at this stage, you can ask. Okay. We'll share the commands. I'll share the commands tomorrow, first thing tomorrow morning, so that you have the whole of the weekend to actually work on it. So I think that's the best way. You have a note-taking pattern, so that it's something you can go back to and you actually read. Mr. Solomon, what is? No, it's just HPIM3, the IP address. Then you have different extensions. No. We are ending the class today. I can see that you don't have a grasp of what we have just finished treating. So let's go back, we review it, have a standard way of taking notes so that it can stick. So we'll have to review all those stuff. If we have to take 2 or 3 lectures to review them, have a note on it, saved on Excel sheet, then we can now proceed to batch scripting. So you've already known batch scripting. And then anything we are doing is just revision, and we're actually moving on from there. I think we'll take a pause here. We'll take a pause here. Let's call it a day. Then tomorrow we actually run the port scanner. We'll look at all the port scanners in the evening, all the port scanner issues, so that we know we've rounded up port scanner. So it's just that the tools you are using, you don't know the what of the tools. That's why it looks as if I'm just showing you the what. So as you do more of the programming and you're looking at other tools already, you can customize any tool to suit your own. That is why the training is very in-depth. So we meet tomorrow in the evening by 7:30 p.m. For those coming for the event, 12 noon. Our advice, you be at the event 12 noon tomorrow. Good night all.